Hello everyone, my name is Bruno Capuano. I work as a cloud advocate at the Toronto Reactor in Microsoft. And hey, it's a pleasure to be with you today to talk about Copilot, an amazing extension for Visual Studio Code that really changed the way that we are programming. Copilot is available in different languages, and I am doing a lot of stuff in Python, so today I want to share with you my experience in Python. Before starting, let me show you a quick, and this is a public tweet from Copilot account, a quick demo of what we can do. So take a look here. When I ask Copilot to autocomplete this function to send a tweet, it will automatically suggest some code to send a tweet. So this is kind of the magic. I am going to go further and explain a little more about this. And before I start, I always do this kind of warning / disclaimer. Sorry about the jokes, sorry about the demos, they are not very professional, but hey, the idea is to have fun and learn all together. So what is Copilot? Copilot is a machine learning model. It's a predictive model that was trained using tons of data from public code, from GitHub and comments and other sources. And it's a model that is going to analyze the codes that we are writing in real time and is going to make suggestions to solve and to autocomplete the code, to solve the problem that we are working right now. And as I said, this code is going to give us online suggestions about what we are doing in Visual Studio Code, and then it's also going to give us the chance to get up to 10 alternatives for a single suggestion. In this session, we are going to keep this very simple. I am not going to go into more details. You can read and you can browse. There are plenty of videos, blog posts, and more around Copilot. But today we are going to use Visual Studio Code using Copilot, which internally use a model called Codex that is going to suggest and is going to help us become better Python coders. Before we start with the demo, let's quickly review how we can access to Copilot. So you can navigate to copilot.github.com, and once you are here, this is still in technical preview until today, but you only need to sign up, and then after 1 day, 10 days, a month, or a couple of months, you are probably going to be approved to use this. Once you have approved to be part of the technical preview, you can go to code, or it supports other IDEs, but you can go to code, go to the extensions, search for Copilot, install Copilot, and there it is. You have Copilot as part of your developer environment, and you can start to use it. Okay, I move to the other side so I don't block the IDE, and we can take a look in code how we can use Copilot. Once you have Copilot up and running, you will see in the bottom right corner here that you have here Copilot. This is the Copilot icon, which is working. So right now what we can do is we can create a new file like demo.py, and we are going to see that we can start to use Copilot here. Let me make this a little bigger, and if I do something like add two numbers, what we are going to see here when I do this gray code that I see here is a Copilot suggestion, so I can autocomplete this. So, okay, right now it doesn't make any sense. It's trying to suggest to add two numbers using list. I don't want this. I want to add A, B as a function. So once I do this, let's take a look. This is the suggestion from Copilot. The gray code is the suggestion. Two numbers is return A plus B. Okay, makes sense. So I can do this. There is another way to use Copilot that instead of reading our code while we are typing, we can use comments to define Copilot to ask help for Copilot. So I can go here and say something like function to add two numbers and return the result. So if I go here, I will have Dave, return A plus B, which is kind of amazing. And I can set function, comment, function to subtract two numbers. Take a look at this. Copilot is automatically understanding that I just add, probably I want to subtract the numbers. So let's do this, subtract A minus B, and here probably if I ask this function to multiply two numbers, and then function to divide two numbers. It's all autocomplete here by Copilot because it's understand that I am working with general operations like add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Okay, how about if we work with a library to manage file, an example OS that everybody loves? So I can add a comment here and get the current working directory is the first suggestion, but I want to list all the files that we have here. all the files in the current directory. So I'm going to do something like this, and it's going to be super easy. It's going to do a print of the file that I have here. If I run this, I should have basically the same file that I have here in my project. I have a file, Bruno, an image, demo, demos, file, image, everything I have here. These files. I don't need anything else. But I can ask Copilot something a little more complicated. As an example, I can say list all files bigger than 4 megabytes. And what it's going to do is going to suggest me to do a for to iterate around the files, and then it's going to basically check the size of the file, and it's going to list the ones that are bigger than 4 megabytes. And I know it's not very exact here. I need to do something different because this is not the right way to do a conversion in bytes from megabytes. But hey, you can get the idea of how Copilot is using, in this case, a library like OS to work with files. And what about working with data? What we can do with data? So let's do something simple, like an example, create an array with all of the weekdays. With the weekdays. So I am going to have weekdays, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and everything else. I can even ask here, create an array with the weekdays in Spanish. You probably noticed the accent. I came from Spain, was born and raised in Argentina, but hey, I have here my weekdays also in Spanish. And I can start to work with this. I can say list the weekdays sorted by, I don't know, that starts with M. So it's going to do a for, day in weekdays. If day is 0, it starts with them. So if the first character is 0, it's going to print the day. Kind of nice. Or I can even ask other scenarios to merge and to do more. And remember that at the beginning I mentioned that we can also take a look at the solution that we get inside, or up to 10 alternatives. Let's take a look for this scenario, for the one that is just right to the alternative. I can go here and start to synthesize the solution. So I only have one here. It's super simple. It makes sense. So I don't have a lot of actions here, but I can take a look here to this action, which are the possible solutions. So let me change a little here around the activity, and let's do merge weekdays and weekdays Spanish and sort by name. If I go to do this, I will start to see the solution. Take a look here. The first solution that is suggested here is basically do a new array, work it days, merge that, do the sum of 2, and then do a sort. I will accept this, and I will have it here. This is a very simple scenario, so we have very, very simple suggestion. But when we start to get in more complex scenario, we are going to have okay, for the last scenario, for the last demo, I am going to remove myself from the screen because I am going to work with OpenCV. So let's import OpenCV, and hey, let's start to take a look at the stuff that we can do with Copilot. I have here an image of myself. This is Bruno. That's an image of myself. So let's ask Copilot to load the image. So it's going to do some image, cv2.imread, and it's going to try to read here a non-existing image. Let's add my name. Usually after we load the image, what we want to do is we want to show the image. So let us to show the image. It's going to do a cv2.emShow, and then wait for a key to be pressed. This is all automatically completed by Copilot. When you see the gray code here, this is Copilot suggestion. And then here we use to close the image. So we need to release all of the resources. I have everything here, so let's press F5 and run this. This is going to be super simple. In the same title of the application is the image. Here it is, and it's running, and we have here the image up and running. So let's also ask Copilot. Let me change this on the title of the window. Let's also ask Copilot to do something more. Like an example, let's convert the image to a grayscale image. So let's ask convert the image to grayscale, and it's going to do gray. A new math is going to be cv2.cvtcolor, and it's going to apply to original image color Bezier to gray effect here. So let's also ask Copilot to show the gray image. Again, it's going to create a new image, a new window with cv2.imShow, and it's going to show this. Let's run this. F5, and we should get here the two windows with the original image that I have here and the second one. What else we can do? So let's take advantage of another properties of Copilot. How about if we want to resize the image, but we want to resize to double the size of the image? So Copilot needs to understand we want to resize, but it also needs to understand how to get the size of the image and double this. So let's do resize the image to double the size of the image. And you can see here it's automatically complete this. So it's going to do this resized image, and let's go also to show this. Let me clean up a little the code. Oh, resized. And let's show here the resized match that we have here. If we run this, we have here the original image, color one, the grayscale one, and the one with the double. And hey, this is just a sample of what you can do with Copilot. If you start to play around and you have more complex projects with classes and different files and a lot of structure, I'm sure that Copilot will basically shock and you're going to be surprised of the stuff that you can do here. Give it a try, sign up for the trial, give feedback about the users, and hey, I'm looking forward to see your experience and to see what are you planning to do and how you're using Copilot.